This is Orion doing a draft for DraftMagic with my little brother Carl. Say hello.
Hello.
I just got this new headset for Christmas. I'm down visiting my family. My little brother's bought me a headset so I can more effectively speak to you on the fly. So here, cards I would consider taking. I really like drafting weird combo decks. So this card is really good because it like draws you 7 cards and untaps all your lands. So I kind of want to just take that and try to force combo. The problem is if we pass a counter spell that somebody maybe takes that. No, we're just going to go crazy. I'm not going to open Time Spiral and not try to draft a combo deck. It's like the actual best card. So we'll do that. And maybe we can wheel like Glenelendra Archmage or like Scrubland or Caves of Koilos or something. This pack is not actually that good. So basically what we're trying to do is draft a Storm combo deck that can get a bunch of lands in play and then kill them with like a Storm card.
Right.
And this is so. Do you know what cube drafting is?
Sort of.
It's like regular drafting, but you have like all these really powerful cards. You're kind of like drafting a constructed deck almost.
I see.
Is the way to put it. So if we're drafting combo, like if we're really just gonna force combo, the cards for us here are like Chrome Mox and Scroll Rack, I guess. This is not a great pack for combo, or a great pack in general. In fact, it kind of sucks. You could also take Faithless Looting, but I kind of want to just take Scroll Rack. Because Chrome Mox might wheel, although not out of this pack. Scroll Rack might wheel too. The card's like only okay. Actually, you know what? Scroll Rack is not even good. I'm just going to take Chrome Mox. It's not the greatest card, but producing fast mana and having free cards for Storm is like really important. Alright, so this is interesting. So there's a Mox Pearl in here, which is obviously really powerful. There's 2 Lilianas. There's a blue-red land. There's a Time Twister. There's a Force of Will. There's even a Venser Into the Royal, which I wouldn't mind having. We're going to be taking Mox Pearl just because it's a Mox. It's like super powerful.
Right.
And especially in a Storm combo deck where you want to have free spells to like add to your Storm count. Moxes are really good. So we'll take that. If we wheel any one of Volcanic Island, Watery Grave, Venser, Time Twister, or Into the Royal, I'll be happy. The card we really want to wheel is Time Twister because these draw 7 effects are really powerful.
Yep.
Especially when you get like multiples of them. But all right, Mind's Desire. This is one of the best Storm cards. It lets you cast a bunch of free spells with Storm. So it's very, very good. There's also Compulsive Research. So let's see. We could, since we're getting this 4th pick, it seems like there's probably nobody else in it. So we could get really greedy and try to wheel the Mind's Desire and take Compulsive Research. But the thing is, we kind of want to wheel Memory Jar anyway. This is another draw 7 type card. It's a little expensive. You got to be careful about having too many expensive spells, but Time Spiral helps a lot. You want to get in on this, Bo? No? Okay. My other little brother who doesn't play Magic quite as much. He's installing Guild Wars 2 on his computer, though. He got that for Christmas. So it's really Compulsive Research or Mind's Desire. I think I'm just going to take Mind's Desire. I'm going to just make sure nobody else gets into combo. I mean, it's not super likely, but... Oh, this pack is like a complete blank. There's like Crucible of Worlds, Wall of Blossoms, which is, I guess, an okay defensive card for like the blue-green deck. And there's like nothing else we want here. I mean, like Lightning Bolt is sort of okay, but none of your kill conditions. Like this is a fine defensive spell in a blue-red deck, but I think I'd rather have this because it draws a card. So an important thing to understand about combo is like you want your defensive spells to double as either like card drawing or like some sort of like Treachery is really good because it untaps lands and can produce extra mana. So you want them to be not totally not part of your combo. So I think I'm going to take Wall of Blossoms. Blue-green is good, and Time Spiral goes well with the Heartbeat of Spring kind of combo deck. All right. Here, it's Impulse. Not very close. This is just like a card selection spell. Helps you dig for stuff like Time Spiral, Mind's Desire. It just gets you what you need, which is important. So there's not really anything else we want. We would take a Selesnya Sanctuary because this card, like it taps for 2 mana, so it's good with Time Spiral because you get to untap it and add you net +1 mana. But Impulse is definitely the way to go here. All right, and we got a Brain Freeze. This is our win condition. I actually would love to have this Breeding Pool because like having good mana is good, but Brain Freeze, it mills them for 3, and then you copy it for Storm. So you have to usually storm off for like 6 or 7, and you just kill them. So Time Spiral, Mind's Desire, Impulse, all these cards. Our deck is shaping up to be like really awesome. Gilded Lotus is pretty sweet.
Never. Like, is Gilded Lotus even that good? Like,
yeah. It gives you a ton of extra mana.
Right, but it's like 5 minutes, so it's,
Yeah, but like you can still cast it and cast something else that turn.
Yeah.
And it's like really only -2 mana the turn you cast it, and then it's +3 mana after you cast it. There's also a channel, which adds a ton of mana. This feels like it could be a pretty degenerate combo piece. I think we're going to take channel. I think it's just a more powerful card than Gilded Lotus. Do you know what this does?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really busted card, and especially there are like Eldrazi's and stuff in the cube. So if you get an Eldrazi, it can be really good. Here, there's not really much that we want. We could hate a Kasali Pride Mage or potentially take a Kasali Pride Mage as artifact removal. Or we could just take Scrubland in case we want to do some sort of like weird splash. I think I'm more likely to want the Scrubland just in case there's like some black or white card or both that I want to splash. So, because you can get like fetch lands and stuff. I mean, I don't think we're going to play it, but I don't think we're going to play Kasali Pride Mage either. So you might as well just take that. So here we have the option between Faithless Looting, which is like pretty good cheap card selection spell, or there's Willbender, which is just like a way to protect your pieces, but I think that Faithless Looting is going to be better. I don't usually like to be playing a card like Willbender. Aha, Time Twister wheeled. Volcanic Island also wheeled, which I actually would like, but I think Time Twister is too important. This kind of card is. So now we have, and we got Memory Jar back, as I thought we would. So see, now we have 3 cards that just refill our hand completely.
Yeah.
So it's like really easy to reach a critical mass of spells once you get to that point. Mono red is really open as usual. I'll just take the best mono red card out of that pack because we don't want to lose to it. This deck is really sweet though. This is like one of the best combo decks I've ever drafted.
Really cool.
Yeah, this deck is gonna be nice.
All right.
We're gonna get to do some cool stuff.
I believe you.
Yeah. So do you like understand where we're going?
Yeah,
the direction where we're going? So like the point is you play like these to accelerate your mana early or on the turn you're trying to go off. And then you'll like play a Memory Jar and then you'll untap. You'll like play all the spells in your hand. You'll crack Memory Jar. You'll hopefully find a way to make a lot of mana. And that's like where a card like Channel helps, is because it pays for all your colorless mana costs for like an entire turn almost, assuming your life total isn't that low. Thunderscape Battle Mage. That card's actually sick. If you kick that twice, there are really some people who just like cannot come back from it. So Channel might not be that good because it requires for you to have enough of a life total to use it effectively, but I don't think that should be too much of a problem. This pack kind of sucks for us. There's not really that much we want. Like
Seething Song, even with that.
The Seething Song is Seething Song is good,
It's 2 mana,
but the problem is it produces basically colorless mana.
Yeah.
And it will probably wheel. Like, this is not really a card that anybody wants. And a card like Scalding Tarn is actually really important.
Right.
So taking mana fixing in cube early is really important. So being able to take the Scalding Tarn here leaves us open, because any dual lands that we get that are blue or red we can get with Scalding Tarn. So it like having a few fetch lands makes your mana base a lot better, because it gives you essentially multiple copies of dual lands. Seething Song, Eternal Witness is fine, but not that great. It's just kind of expensive, but it is like +2 Storm. Yep. But it's like not. It's kind of expensive. It is also good with fetch lands though, which is like a card advantage spell. But I think we're gonna just take Scalding Tarn here, and it's like not really close. We could take a Signet, but I think the fetch land is gonna be much better in that spot. Thragtusk is pretty good. Show and Tell is interesting. Well, if we had Show and Tell and Channel, then we can take Eldrazi's really highly, and then that can be like an alternate plan. We can be like kind of a, it's like it's just an option to think about. Pernicious Deed is going to be really good against us. Hallowed Fountain doesn't really fix our mana the way I want it to. Neither does Plateau, so I'm not too interested in taking those. Kargan Dragonlord is a good card, but not for our deck. So the real question is whether we want like Show and Tell. We could take Thragtusk just as a way to buy like a ton of time against aggressive decks.
That's true.
But it's like kind of expensive.
Because it's definitely not going to.
Yeah. No, it's not going to wheel. Show and Tell like doesn't do anything yet. It does put Memory Jar into play, I guess, which is not nothing, but it's not really what you want to be doing. I think I'm gonna take this. This just has such a high upside, and if we like get Eldrazi stuff like that, it becomes much, much better. Ooh, Lotus Cobra is sick. So is Word Power Stone. So Worn Power Stone, Lotus Cobra. Hopefully this Obstinate Bailout Wheels, I guess. We only have one fetch land to go with Lotus Cobra, but if you get like Oracles of Moldiah and stuff, Lotus Cobra becomes a lot better. Whereas Worn Power Stone is just always a ton of mana. But it doesn't fit with the lands theme of Time Spiral. And it comes to play tapped, which means that you can't make mana with it the turn you cast it. I think I'm going to take Cobra. Although we don't really have any creatures, which means that it'll always... Yeah, it just dies to all removal. So I guess Worn Power Stone is better. Right now, we're primarily going to prioritize stuff that makes mana for us. Ooh, Primeval Titan is interesting. There's also a Frantic Search. The question is whether I think I'll wheel Frantic Search or not. There's going to be... I'm going to take a card, which means there's going to be 3 cards that wheel out of this pack. So it's probably going to be like Mana Tithe. Yeah, I think Frantic Search will wheel. Or Mystical Tutor. Primeval Titan is just like a big guy, and he provides you with a lot of land. You can get a lot of lands with him, which is nice. But I don't know if it's actually what we even want. Like, we don't have any ramp, and it's like just tapping out on 6, like after 6 actual turns seems a little weak. I think I just want Frantic Search. And we'll try to get something that like helps our lands make extra mana. Even if we just wheel this Azorius Chancery, I would be fine with that. I don't know if that pick was correct or not. This pack is mostly a whiff. I'm just going to take Wicker Bow Elder, I think, because it kills artifacts and enchantments, which is a good thing to have for the sideboard. Don't really want these other cards. We could take a Dark Ritual, I guess, but it doesn't even do anything in this deck, so... Exploration's kind of cool. Eureka's kind of cool, too. It goes well in the Show and Tell plan, although we don't actually have any creatures yet.
So is Brain Freeze just like going to be our only win condition?
Yeah, but we have so much card draw that we can find it very easily every game. We could also take Exploration here, which is kind of an interesting one. We passed a Crucible of Worlds already, which is a card that I do like to have with Exploration. You can get like fetch land. You can just play a fetch land twice every turn with Crucible of Worlds and stuff. There's also Life from the Loam, which is pretty good. We could also just take a Bounce land, which is good with Frantic Search. Yeah, I'm kind of into that. I think I'm just going to take a Bounce land as a way to produce mana. And, well, do we think we're going to wheel the Azorius Chancery from the last pack, and then we could take Exploration with Bounce lands? Yeah, I'm going to take Exploration. It's a really, really strong card when you get what you need for it. Here, there's not much. We could take Shoulder It, I guess, as a show and tell thing, but that's not really doing it for me. All Is Dust is an interesting defensive card, but it's kind of expensive. I think I'm just going to take the off-color bounce land here. Just for the mana production aspect. Here, I think Steam Vents is a pretty easy pick. We can get it with Scalding Tarn. I don't know if we need red mana, but Empty the Warrens I don't really consider to be a very good card, although... Maybe it's not that bad. It does let you just go off for, like, against some decks you can bring it in the sideboard and just go off for, like, a few points. You don't need to go off for, like, totally lethal. You can just make, like, 10 goblins or 12 goblins. That's a tough pick. Of course, if we don't take the Steam Vents, Empty is harder to cast. No, I guess having this in the sideboard is going to be good. I don't really think it's a main deckable card, though. Here, we're just going to take a Selesnya Signet. I don't know if we'll play it or not, but we're definitely not playing any of the other cards in that pack. Geez, Chain Lightning Wield? That was not what we wanted to wheel out of this pack. I forget what we did want to wheel out of this pack. Maybe it was. I guess I'll just take that. It's a fine defensive card, and we're not going to play any of the other cards in this pack, so... What does Enlightened Tutor do? Could we potentially splash Enlightened Tutor? It's like... Signet. I mean, I guess it gets Memory Jar, but that's not even that exciting. I just maybe want to bolt something. Oh, this is actually a choice. So there's a Lotus Cobra. There's an Obstinate Bailout, which we actually really do want for our sideboard. There's also an Izzet Charm, which is removal and card selection and a counterspell. But we don't even know if we're going to be red for sure. And Lotus Cobra is just really busted. We have Exploration Lotus Cobra. Fetch lands? Yeah, I think I gotta take this. So the card that we wanted out of this pack didn't wheel either. I think I'm gonna take Yawgmoth's Will, I guess. Yeah. Arbor Elf doesn't untap dual land, so I'm not that excited in it. Pyroclasm actually... No, I think we actually want Pyroclasm for the sideboard. Oh, shoot. I'll just take a Sphinx here, I guess. Oh, Eureka Wield. That's potentially good. Now we just need stuff to... If we get like a few Eldrazi's in this pack, I don't know if it's likely, but if we do get them, it could be good for us. We didn't wheel the Azorius Chancery either, which is kind of a bummer.
So do we think we'll be running red?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to know until... Alright, so here we're definitely taking Mana Crypt. This card is bonkers. Just completely bananas good. We're not going to wheel Preordain, which sucks. What could we wheel? We could wheel like maybe Maze of Ith. This pack kind of is bad in general. So I'm not sure, but Mana Crypt in our Storm combo deck is just very, very strong. Turn 1 Worn Power Stone into like have a ton of mana is really, really good.
Isn't Mana Crypt only 2 mana though?
Yeah, but you play a land and a Mana Crypt and a Worn Power Stone.
Right.
Or you just go like land, Mox Pearl, Chrome Mox, Mana Crypt, make 10 goblins. Turn 1. Just make 10 1/1 goblins. Alright, so Remand is good. It's a defensive spell that also... Okay, so I think what we want out of this pack, though, is Mirari's Wake. This card makes all your lands tap for twice as much mana,
Right.
which makes stuff like Frantic Search and Time Spiral very, very good. But we could also just take Remand and try to wheel Is It Boilerworks, but... Because the white mana on this, we don't really have a lot of fixing. I guess we already have a Mox Pearl and a Selesnya Signet. Okay, yeah. You've convinced me.
Did you side a Selesnya, or did you hide a Selesnya
No,
Signet?
it's right
too?
there. No. There's only one copy of each card in the cube.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, I should have said that. So I'm really hoping that this Is It Boilerworks wheels. That's the card we really want. I mean, I know Remand won't wheel, but yeah, I think Mirari's Wake is going to be really good. I mean, we aren't even necessarily playing red at this point.
Wasn't there a blue, green, white thing in one of the relations? No, never mind.
All right, so here, Careful Consideration is really, really good. You just draw 4 cards, discard 2 cards.
Right.
It's super strong. Skull Clamp is a good card, but obviously not in our deck. Skull Clamp is like pretty easily the best card in this pack. Baleful Strix is a card that I always want to play, but I'm never black in these decks. Abrupt Decay also is a fine removal spell. Koth is strong, Faith Fighters is strong, but yeah, we're just going to take Careful Consideration. That one's pretty easy.
So is Careful Consideration just that new card? Oh, no.
Oh, Thought Flare?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Thought Flare for 1 less mana, but you only get a Thought Flare if you're down. If you cast it on your main phase. So Inkwell Leviathan is kind of cool with Show and Tell. And with Time Spiral. Maybe we could just do this.
That'd be funny.
I mean, it's not the greatest. It might wheel too. There's also Sword Supply Shares and Day of Judgment. I think we're only going to be splashing white at the moment, so I'm not too high on Day of Judgment. Everflowing Chalice is interesting, but I don't think we need any more colorless mana at this point. Primal Command is okay. I think I'm just going to take Swords, actually, and hope to wheel Inkwell Leviathan. This is no good. See what I'm most likely to play. Maybe Bonfire. Or Inquisition we don't want to play against.
Be a pretty valuable pack in Standard right now.
Yes, this pack is worth a lot of dollars. I don't know what I want to... I don't even know what I want to cut here. I guess Sword of War and Peace I don't want to play against because it is like really scary. Yeah, sure. Oh, here we go. Blightsteel Colossus. Or Polluted Delta. I mean, I think I want to take Blightsteel Colossus, especially because it's possible that we wheel one more big fatty that's good with Channel Show and Tell. So I think Blightsteel Colossus is good enough with Show and Tell where it'll let us run it. And it's also possible that with Mirari's Wake we can just cast it. also is mostly a whiff. I think I'm just going to take Orzhov Basilica. We unfortunately have like two kind of awkwardly off-color bounce lands, but I think with Exploration they're good enough that it's worth it. Yeah, we're making a video. All right. Oust is a good defensive card if we end up being white. Restock is okay, but probably too expensive. I'm just going to take Taiga. We can get it with Scalding Tarn. It'll let us go into a fourth color, potentially. Probably just take that. As predicted, we didn't really wheel much out of this pack. Probably just take a Naturalize. I mean, we have enough. We have almost enough playables as is. Good. Is it Boiler Works wheeled? And I definitely don't want any of these other cards. I guess Lightning Greaves is decent with the Blightsteel plan, but not too worried about it. All right, well, we have all the green-red fixing in the world. We could also just take a Ratchet Bomb. That's actually not a bad card against some of the really fast aggro decks. Gives you outs to, like, some cards that would be a problem. We could also play Nostalgic Dreams, but I don't think so. I think we want Ratchet Bomb. I don't think we need another green-red dual land. I don't even know if we're going to play red. I guess Faithless Looting is pretty good, but it's not really a card that's worth splashing. It would be just like Empty the Warrens, maybe, would be the splash. So Woodfall Primus is another good thing to show and tell, but I think the Dream Halls actually might be good. This lets you discard cards to cast things for free. Let's see, we don't have a ton of good blue, like a ton of color consistency though. We maybe just want Woodfall Primus. It's a fine thing to show and tell on turn one. Huntmaster is a really strong card. I'm kind of surprised it's still here, but I think we're just gonna take the fixing. I don't really think I'm gonna be playing Huntmaster. And here I mean we're gonna be playing like 2 red bounce lands. So I'm trying out. I've been tweaking this kind of deck for a while. Learning how to draft it. Why is this card in the cube? This card's been in the cube for a long time. It doesn't do anything. It's awful. It's a very terrible card. So I don't know if I want to play this Lotus Cobra or not, just because it's like the only thing that eats removal. Alright. Impulse, Brain Freeze, Frantic Search, Show and Tell. Time Twister, Careful Consideration, Mind's Desire, Sphinx, Time's Rattle. Probably not going to play Sphinx. If I was going to play red, it would be like maybe Faithless Looting, maybe Empty the Warrens, that's it. So Woodfall Primus.
You have plenty of dual lands for red.
Yeah, but like it might not. It's you just have to decide whether or not it's actually worth it. You know what I mean? The one problem with Woodfall Primus is that it takes 5 green mana to cast it off of a channel, so that's not even that good. What's this?
Open it, please. I can't.
Oh, okay. Really?
I must have loosened it.
Yeah, something.
I loosened it with a spoon.
Yeah, something like that. All right. So I mean, we could just go like turn 1 Forest Chrome Mox Imprint green card channel Blightsteel Colossus go. I mean, we don't have that many green cards, but Exploration's definitely going to go in the deck. We're going to play a fair number of lands, I think. I think we're going to play Swords, and I think... Oh, yeah, we're playing Mirari's Wake for sure. I wish we got, like, one more white land. Oh, we have the Scrub land. But we're not playing black. And we can't fetch the Scrub land, so it's the same as a Plains. If we had, like, a black... Alright, so I think we are going to end up playing red. I think that... If we're going to do that, we're going to play Faithless Looting. We're going to play Empty the Warrens. We're going to maybe play, like, Chain Lightning just as a cheap spell that can increase our storm count and also can kill something in the early game. We have, like, maybe a little too much creature removal, although maybe I've been not having enough creature removal in the earlier forms of this deck. Lotus Cobra's not even that good in the deck. I guess for our last card, I feel like I'm going to want to play... No, I guess this is fine. Because, I mean, I want to play a lot of mana sources in this deck. And we have a lot of, like, ways to just draw a bunch of cards, so we'll just add...
Any point to just run one Faithless Looting?
One Faithless Looting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just digs you. It's a cheap spell. It adds to your storm count. It, like, gets rid of excess lands. One problem that you can have sometimes is you'll cast, like, a Time Twister, and you'll draw, like... 4 lands or something, so like drawing a card like Faithless Looting off a Time Twister, because you drew so many cards, you don't mind being down a card off of Faithless Looting, but it just helps you do that. So I'm gonna try the like bounce lands and Frantic Search Time Spiral engine for a little extra mana, because one of the problems that I've been having when I'm drafting this deck is that I'll get a little bit choked on mana. So I think that maybe this will help with that problem a little bit. So we're obviously base. So for white sources we have Basilica, Pearl, and Selesnya Signet, which I think means that we want like 2 more planes for our 2 white cards. Because yeah, so this is 5 white sources, which I think should be fine. But we do want the Sword of Plowshares like somewhat early in the game, and the Mirari's Wake is like kind of a crucial card to have. And then we'll go for Rakdos Carnarium is almost completely off color. I mean, I guess it casts our red spells, which is fine. Then we have Taiga and Scalding Tarn, plus Orza Basilica and Izzet Boilerworks, for not a lot of red cards. So I guess we can add 2 mountains as well. Alright, so that's that. So those are our 2 splashes. And that leaves us with 7 more lands. But fortunately we have... So for blue, we have Scalding Tarn, although that's probably going to want to get Taiga a lot of the time. Actually, I think I'm going to cut 1 mountain. Yeah. Instead of Chain Lightning, maybe I'll just play Ratchet Bomb. That's actually better, I think.
Careful, these could be birthday presents. That's what they'll do. That's what they are, I'm sure.
So is it Boilerworks Scalding Tarn? So we're going to need like 6 islands. And then 2 forests. Feels like not enough green sources. I guess we don't have that many green cards. We have like 2 green cards. Maybe we just don't play Channel.
Not the one from Forge.
My little brother's opening Christmas letters. Here. Yeah, I guess we don't... We're like just base blue. Oops, sort by color. And then this is like not really a green card anyway. So like these are all the green cards we have. So double green on Channel is a little bit awkward. We do have Selesnya Signet, fetch for Taiga, plus a forest. Maybe we can't play Channel.
Kind of a crazy tasting thing.
In which case that makes our blights. No, we're just still gonna play Channel. We're gonna force it in there. We're gonna cut 1 island, add a forest. What if I didn't splash sword? Yeah, I guess not splashing swords, then I can cut up plains and add another island. Splash Chain Lightning instead of swords. Yeah, I shouldn't have taken that Sword of Plowshares. I don't think there's anything else I really wanted in the pack, but so 16 lands with 3 bounce lands I think is good with exploration. It was Scalding Tarn. It seems a little crazy not to play Lotus Cobra, but I just think it'll die every time. Well, maybe not. And it gives us a ton of mana with exploration. Helps us continue going off. Maybe I could just not play Woodfall Primus. And then Show and Tell gets Mirari's Wake, Memory Jar, and Blightsteel Colossus into play. That's actually pretty sweet. Alright. We'll try it. I keep trying out like little tweaks on the combo decks. I'm still not entirely sure how to draft them, but it'll be fun one way or the other. Anyway, we'll pause this and then wait for round 1.